telling him so he knew.
Oh, I forgot to give us a funny name.
Like what?
You know, like
Can you think of anything right now?
Anteater.
First of all, that sounds... Yikes.
The Anteater.
Long John. What was your one thing in the video game?
Long bronze.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Long bronze.
His long bronze. So we're just waiting for Ken.
Mr. Brooks.
So yeah, we're just gonna hang out for a second.
What have you been up
Listen
to,
this
Em?
rock.
We are gonna listen to this rock. Here, let's throw this up.
Oh, just in case somebody got confused.
You know, in case somebody's confused.
Oh, I didn't know what that said.
This.
Oh, not that. Nothing.
Flash it on the screen.
What have I been up to? Nothing. Working. We've been watching a lot of TV.
I watched more TV in the last week than I watched in the last 6 months.
Week before, like when you, yeah, probably.
Probably.
So,
Because
been doing that.
I've watched, we're almost caught up on Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
I watched all of Kenobi. And I've watched
Oh,
some
makes
of Boba Fett.
So you're watching Kenobi and Boba Fett.
Kenobi
same
I
time?
watched.
Oh, you did. I thought you said you were almost done.
All done.
Okay.
It was good.
And it was good. Can you give it a
It
thumbs
was,
up.
it was really good. Kenobi was good. Kenobi was super good. Oh, Ryan James.
Shit.
What's up?
Look who's here.
Dang, dog.
What's up?
We're just waiting for Ken.
He said he's coming. So yeah, we're almost caught up on Stranger Things, and I'm loving it. Ben's doing stuff to distract me.
You're supposed to be talking about cool stuff.
I don't have anything cool. We've gotten games, so we haven't played games. We still need to play Picture Perfect. We need to play Planted. We need to play Stardew Valley again to try it out again. We haven't played Terra Mystica since our first play.
So what's
trying to think
what's
of what
next
else.
on your what's the next game you're gonna play? Tell me.
Planted. Just because it's so short and simple for the most part. I think that's an easy one to just knock out of the park. We have a bunch of exits we haven't done. We have a lot.
Ryan says he can't see us on Twitch, but it says we're live.
Well, thanks for letting us know. Let's check. It's not working?
I think it's going.
Nah, Brian must just be an idiot. That kind of. Let's see. Let's see if I can get there, because I would be the dumbest one out of all of us.
Now
to
that
get
you
there.
started the weekend workouts, Em, are you gonna make Ryan work out when he comes up?
No.
No, that seems like a waste of time.
No. There we
Oh,
go.
look, there he is.
I was gonna say I can see it.
Two
It's just
viewers.
me.
It's just the same guy.
It's me looking confused at the screen trying to read that, so that's embarrassing.
All right, put your hands together, ladies and
Is this
gentlemen.
what I look like?
We've got him. He's in the back room right now, ready to come out. He's hyping up. He's
said in the
oiling up
bathroom.
like a wrestler, ready to do his introduction.
Where he smashes
Please
the
welcome to the
computer.
show, Mr. and Mr.
He's not even there.
Wait, where'd he go?
Weighing in at 295 pounds,
295.
6'8", in the blue trunks.
I'll see it.
Yeah. 6'8".
295. That's big even for 6'8". I'm pretty
6'8", 350. I don't know.
6'8"
Boogs
is really
like
effing
almost
tall.
300 pounds.
Yeah, but yeah.
Is he tall?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
assume he is. He must be.
Nobody knows.
He doesn't look short.
Well, he's definitely 6 foot wide,
This.
so that
Yeah.
creates a
That's true.
that
That's true.
affects it. What's going on?
Welcome.
What's up?
Why'd
What's
you guys make me
up?
watch this movie? Why do you do this to me?
It was particularly
This
bad. I found this
is-
movie to be particularly bad.
Well,
It just
I'm
didn't
gonna-
really go anywhere.
Are we started? Because I've got hot commentary.
Well, we need to
Not
take
yet.
off the music too.
I just answer one question before we start. Ryan wants to know if you're doing the X-Men painting challenge or not.
I'm not. I
asking in
don't.
the
I don't have
comments.
the X-Men, and I don't want to buy them. So no, respectfully.
Where is that
I gotta
music?
finish the ones I have.
Right down there.
I don't. I have all the.
kinda
I
like
have
it
the
though.
Infinity
Pen.
Gauntlet one, and the Thor one. So those are first.
Yeah, you have to do those.
And the X-Men pack is particularly big, so I don't need them.
Are we just gonna watch you dance this whole time?
All right. Maybe this should be our D-list intro music.
That's fine, but it has to end at
All
some
right, here we go.
point.
Let's get this show on the road. Hello and welcome to another Date Night D-List episode. This week we watched the 2006 movie Poseidon, so you didn't have to. That's right, we watched blockbuster bombs and tell you all about them. That's what the D-List is. So let's get this show on the road. See if I can fade this music out. Look at that. Excellent. What a great job.
Wow. Very nice.
All right, we watched Poseidon. Now get this. Poseidon from 2006 is a remake of the 1972 movie called The Poseidon Adventure, which had Gene Hackman as the main character.
Yes, that's right.
That movie was based on a 1969 book also called The Poseidon Adventure. So I remember when this movie came out because my mom had seen the original Poseidon.
Did she make you go and see this?
Wow.
I don't know, but I don't think I saw this movie because when we were watching it, nothing was ringing a bell at all.
Or it's like that bad, where you just like fade it out during. Okay, you want to tell us the little info thing about it? I can't think of.
Sure. Is this from IMDb,
Yep.
the Internet Movie Database? On New Year's Eve, the luxury ocean liner Poseidon capsizes after being swamped by a rogue wave. The survivors are left to fight for their lives as they attempt to escape the sinking ship.
Forgot. I need to look up, is a rogue wave a real thing? They are.
Okay,
Right?
I was wondering this.
There you
too.
go. Open
That's a
water
real thing?
phenomenon. Yeah.
I guess so. You gotta watch out for
Unusually
those rogue
large,
waves.
on any cruise
unpredictable,
ships.
and suddenly appearing surface waves.
That's weird.
I didn't know.
Distinct from tsunamis, which are often almost unnoticeable in deep waters and
Sounds
are
so
typically
creepy.
caused by earthquakes. A rogue wave appearing at the shore is sometimes referred to as a sneaker wave,
Whoa.
which is weird because they said it was visible even in the deep. So what would be sneaky about it?
Maybe because it just suddenly appears in shallow water?
I suppose,
No,
maybe. Okay.
It's a
Huh.
sneaker.
This movie, so Blockbuster Bomb, it cost $160 million to make this movie, and it lost
Whoa.
$69 million.
Oof, oof.
But it was nominated for an Academy Award for Visual Effects.
But did it win?
Really?
Yeah, that's what I said. Really?
I guess
Well,
2006 though.
But
I
there
don't
are
know.
there are parts of this movie that are distinctly ultra CGI heavy, and
Yeah.
particularly the beginning, and it's
Yeah.
a man running on a green screen treadmill,
Very
clearly.
much the beginning.
Yeah.
and then the rest of the movie is very, very practical for the most
Yeah,
part.
I think it's like,
for the most
right?
part.
And I think every time you see the ship, I think it's a model.
Probably.
It doesn't look
No.
CG to me.
Oh, I thought it did. I thought it looked ridiculous.
Maybe it did.
Maybe it's just a
I don't know
really
which one,
good...
but something was off.
Huh.
I definitely, when I watched the trailer for the 1972 movie, it was a model.
Like
Sure,
in a
sure.
bathtub.
Right.
And Lex Luthor was trying to get everybody out.
4-inch model. Yeah. So before we get into it, I think
All
I know
right.
the answer. We always
Yeah.
forget to say, should you maybe watch this?
No.
No.
No. Yeah, it's a resounding no. but
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by this one.
Okay.
Mostly because of my own misunderstanding. I was under the I guess it's because we're coming off the back of 2012,
Okay.
the disaster porn movie, for lack of a better term. I thought that's what this was going to be, and it's not.
No.
It's more of like a survival
Yeah, it's like an I
thriller?
survived story.
Yeah. So in
That's
that,
what it is.
only in that respect was I pleasantly surprised, because I was not prepared to watch another disaster movie. But
I definitely thought it had more to it, like, Titanic
There was a-
style, like everyone getting out in different ways. I didn't think it was just going to be like we follow 5 people or whatever.
yeah, and then I guess in that way, there was way more tension than I thought there was going to be in some scenes. Like in 2012, how many times did we see that little airplane dip into a crevice in the earth? And it's like, well, they're
it's
not
going
going to
down.
die here. This is not how the movie's going to
Exactly.
end.
It's not going to be like
And
blown up.
the whole cast is there. They can't kill them all at once. Whereas in this one, it's like, it got to a point where I was like, wow, I'm not sure who's going to live.
That is true. It did have
So
that.
it had some surprises for me, but otherwise, bad movie.
It was definitely very watchable, and the 90 to 100 minute
It's very quick.
time
That was
is
nice.
like good.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like, maybe you'll talk about this, Em. It's almost like they cut the first 20 movements of character development off, and they were just like, let's just start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't know anyone's name till like halfway
It's
through.
it's actually impressive that they're able to create tension later in the movie, because I don't know legitimately do not know any of these characters' names.
Yeah.
None of them have any backstory other than basically what is happening presently,
Right.
right?
Yeah. You don't know anything about them.
The
and
one
you never
guy's a
learn
mayor.
anything about them.
That's it. The rest are just people on the boat.
A former mayor, too? It's never really made clear.
And it kind of,
No.
like, between him, it kind of insinuates that, like, the mayor, you're right. It feels like they cut something out, sort of like showing how good of a mayor he was or something.
Right.
And then the main character, who's again, you guys got to stop making
Douchebags.
butthole main characters.
I hate
Like insufferable jerks for main characters. There were moments in this where I'm like, is he like a thief? Is there like a subplot going on here? He's
Yeah.
rich. He's douchey. Like, what did we miss? Like, there was a point where I was like, he's good. He's like here to steal something. There's something on the ship.
He's gonna stop by a ship and grab a diamond or something.
Right. He had ulterior motives.
It's almost like we missed the first half of the movie
Yeah.
where you would have known, he
All
is there to
this.
steal something. But instead, you
Right.
just...
No, you don't.
He's
Yeah,
just
you
a
don't know
jerk
anyone
who wants
It's
to
just
get
kind
out.
of like people just show up.
You've got... So, in this movie, what do we got? We got Richard Dreyfuss, who is the guy from
Who's
Jaws.
Richard Dreyfuss?
Mm-hmm.
He plays
Is that
Nelson.
the old guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
That's
the one
Richard.
earring, the one
Right.
left earring.
He's-
That
So
really
you know
gives it
he's
away.
gay. That's
Yeah,
why
that's
it's
how
there.
They
That's why it's
zoomed
there.
in on the sparkle.
Yeah.
It was
Zoomed
like,
in.
oh my
They
gosh.
make it very clear, you as the audience, the earring lets you know he's gay.
We have Kurt Russell playing Gene Hackman,
ridiculous.
playing the main character, or the hero,
Yeah, he's the dad.
playing
Yeah.
Bruce Willis from Armageddon.
Okay, calm down.
Right. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, Josh Lucas is the main douchebag, Dylan.
Oh man.
He is from Sweet Home Alabama.
I have him in my notes as knockoff Chris Evans.
Yeah. But I mean, he
That's
used
an
to
insult
be
to Chris
yeah.
Evans. This movie, his character's awful in this. I don't mean anything bad against that guy specifically. Like, how many movies have we seen
Yeah.
that don't work because the main character is just
I don't know, did-
unbearable?
People used to think like
Is that sexy?
that was
Is it
like
hot?
sexy because now I see it and I'm like, this is so off-putting.
Maybe
so,
2006 that was
What
hot.
were we doing? So we
Yeah.
were just out of high school in 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot
I
boy,
don't
hot
know,
boy
though.
summer, douche boy
Like
summer.
badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oof.
Dang, look at that rogue wave coming.
That
The
is a
rogue
rogue
wave.
for you.
Was only as tall as the ship. I would like to
Yeah.
point out in the
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah, the
This
ship
is a
wasn't like
very
riding a surfboard.
misleading picture.
Even if you look up like rogue waves, it's supposed to be like 90 feet high or something
Right.
like that. And this wave in this picture here is 500 feet high.
Yeah, I'm sure a rogue wave can't just like flip a ship easy.
Well, maybe if it hit it broadside, but even it's still not. It's still
No.
not 5
I literally
to 10
never,
times
you
the
never
height
hear
of an
about
ocean
this.
liner.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
because they always turn into the wave in
you
time.
just go over it.
I don't know.
Not in this movie.
Like there's
they
just
don't.
rogue waves left and right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this
Okay,
show on the
you
road
ready?
here. I'm ready.
Sorry.
The movie starts out showing that giant ship. So if it's CG or whatever the scenario, I don't know. And you can see someone like working out, which we find out later is Dylan. He's doing like a very weird jog, and then he goes up the stairs
Yes.
like in a weird
Yes.
way too.
Well,
It's all
I
very
thought he-
strange.
I didn't realize he was working out, and I thought he was like a staff
late?
member or something,
Oh,
like the
okay.
captain. And so he was like doing his morning jog before the clients are up. The customers are up. And then, it pivots. First of all, it does a huge swing
Yeah,
around
it
this
goes, like,
massive
all around.
CGI ship, like Phantom Menace CGI ship. And he's just running on a treadmill on a green screen, clearly. And then he goes up the stairs like
Like
I don't-
he's trying to
I don't know what you
I
would
don't
call
know.
it.
like you do wide steps
Like
left and right.
your
I
foot
don't
has
know why,
to
though.
touch each far side of the next step.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange because once again, nothing comes out of it. You're not like, oh, remember at the
No.
beginning he worked out, or like nothing comes back to it. So it's just kind of strange.
Right, and what's weird, I didn't even take very many notes, but 3 of my 15 notes here are wide steps. Why does it already look weird? Green screen lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Well,
is
I
really
mean,
weird there.
truthfully, you don't have many notes because there's very little to this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. There isn't much.
I mean, we'll go through it, but there's not much here. Maybe that makes it a good thing.
Well, yeah, it's not 4 hours like the last one. Then we go inside. There's like a couple making out and stuff. And Kurt Russell, aka the dad of the group, he walks in the room and you can like tell he's uncomfortable. It's his daughter and her boyfriend or whatever. And they're like, should we tell him? We should tell him. And it's just like tension. You can just tell everything's a little uncomfortable. Dad doesn't really like the boyfriend there, and it's weird.
Well, I get the sense that the dad doesn't like any.
Dad doesn't like that his daughter grew up.
Right.
Is pretty much what it is. Which
And
is
so
like,
he
well,
hates everybody. Yeah.
yeah. So then we cut right away straight to like the staff is super busy. The working area is really busy. So we're just like zooming around the ship at this point.
Yeah.
Which when you don't have names of people and you're trying to take notes, I was like, weird guy. That's like everyone had a 4-word name at that point. But
I do wonder, are kitchens in cruise ships that overcrowded? It was like you couldn't even move. There was so many staff people in those kitchens.
I would
mean, I'm
think
sure
so.
they're
Right?
busy, but I don't know why it would be like built so tiny.
But space is at a
Shit.
premium, right? If you can get an extra
Yeah.
3 guests on board,
That's true.
That's true. It
that's what
probably
we're
is like
doing,
that.
right?
So then we see the old guy who's Nelson. He's the gay guy. He's on the phone trying to call someone, and he's like, "Just call me at midnight, like old times." And he's like distressed
That was weird.
too.
That was a weird.
Like clearly has some
Anyway.
sort of relationship issue, but
Like old times. I thought that was
Yeah.
going to come back later.
It
What does
didn't.
like old times
Yeah.
mean?
it did
Oh,
not.
don't get
come back.
attached to anything in this.
Yeah. Then we see some girl in like the lobby area looking confused. She runs into Dylan because as if she like doesn't know where she is. He essentially figures out she snuck on the boat, and she snuck on with someone who's a staff member. I'm not getting too deep into this because it doesn't really matter.
Well, and none of these things pay off.
No, it doesn't. You don't need to know any of this.
But
Yeah,
again,
the fact that she
So-
snuck on never comes up again.
right, doesn't
Right?
No.
matter.
I think
Doesn't matter.
it's irrelevant.
Well, and it exactly. I will comment on that later, also, actually. But again, Dylan is acting like a staff member.
Yes.
He looked like. Why is he
Yes.
acting like he runs the ship still?
Not only that, he's like, you would have seen the lobby when you walked in. How come you didn't look at the
Well,
lobby when you walked in?
this is
What
like
is
And
part
it's
of
like,
my-
who gives a crap if someone looked at the
this
lobby?
is part of my thief theory. He's cased the joint. He clearly has some knowledge of the ship, right?
true.
If he doesn't work here, he's trying to get something from it, right? And then as soon as things go bad, he's like, I gotta go here.
Yeah,
He
that
needs
is
to
true.
get something.
The
But
diamond.
again, nothing. There's no reason
nothing.
for it.
He essentially is like, you're looking for the staff
He just
area. You're gonna
calls some
want to. He tells her
random
where.
woman out. I'm like,
Right? Can you imagine someone
did you
looking
climb on
around?
the
You're like,
ship? Did you climb on this ship? You sneak in here? You sneak
Are you
in my
telling
ship?
me you didn't see this one?
Just
Do you know-
because you're
do
looking
you
around.
have any idea who I am? Because the viewers don't. Nobody remembers what my name is.
I just
It's very weird.
like the answer to like, wouldn't you have seen this when you came on board would just be yeah, and I thought it was impressive. I wanted to see it again, but instead she's like, oh, you got me.
Yeah.
or how
yeah.
or how about like, I don't know, I was bringing my luggage to my room. I'm not like looking at all the architecture. I don't like, what
It
are you
was
like, I
strange.
don't
know.
And it
third
also-
degree right away.
It also sets up the main character as like pretty hostile because he's like that with everyone. He's like grilling people, and anyway,
So
I don't
then
understand
we
it.
find out it's New Year's Eve. They're gonna have a ballroom party, all this stuff. Fergie fucking shows up.
Fergie's there.
Ooh, Fergie's there. She also only is like maybe 1 minute total of airtime. I don't know who thought Fergie had to be there, but
Well, I wrote Fergie concert because she did sing
she
several
did
songs.
sing a little bit.
She got a lot of airtime for
Yeah.
how long she was in it.
Well, that is true.
They
Sort
got
of.
their money's worth.
I don't know. It's Fergie. I
It
don't
was
know.
strange. Was she
It's
in
weird.
it as Fergie, or was she a different person? I don't remember.
It wasn't.
I
It
have
was
no
not
clue.
made
Not
clear.
clear.
I don't know.
Again, don't know what her name is.
Not necessary.
Yeah.
So this is when Dylan, so the douchebag who was working out in the
Yeah.
morning, is playing
There he
poker
is.
against the
God.
dad, Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
There he is. And some other people. And this is when the daughter comes up to the dad to be like, hey, we're going to go dancing. And he's like, oh my God, could you button your shirt? And he's like all embarrassed.
I can't believe you have breasts at all.
Right.
Why aren't you
I thought
doing
you were
something
She's
10.
about
like,
those?
she's like 24 and he's like pissed about this. And so then she ruins the poker game by being like, oh, nice pair of fives, and like walks away. But during
Got
that, you
'em.
find out they're all rich because they're like, how about 20,000? How about 30,000? Which is
Still,
weird.
though, there's like $100,000 in the pot, like, and she ruins it. Like,
Maybe dad's super rich, and so that's like,
Dad's kind of
maybe.
this felt deserved though, right? Because he was he was giving her a hard time about sitting with the guy earlier.
That's true.
yeah, he was
They're
being a douche.
and they're adults. Like,
Right.
they're clearly adults.
yeah, they're not.
Yeah,
like
there's no doubt
teens or
about that.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
So as Dylan is leaving the poker table, he runs into some kid and like drops all of his chips. I'm gonna state right here, I hate kids in movies. I
This
hate
movie in particular,
little kids.
towards the end,
Oh,
it's like now I see
well-
why you kept him around, so you could just do this thing.
it's so annoying.
There's
I
some
hate
other
kids
scenes,
in
though.
movies so much though.
There's some
They-
other scenes in this though where it's like, I really don't like that this kid is here because it makes
Yes, that is
things
true.
much harder,
Which
like legitimately
I'm sure
hard.
is part of it. Which
So
is
I
why
like
they have
that
a
part.
kid, but
But then later, he magically disappears. A la
oh my
movie
God,
magic.
that is
And
mine.
it's like, you kind of ruined the, I don't know. Anyway.
Everything.
Yeah.
So this is when Dylan meets his mom, Maggie, and they have some back and forth smart ass like little lines to each other,
Ugh.
which also was not anything like a real conversation would go. Like everything
Right.
was like punchline, punchline, punchline,
Right.
like just back
Right.
and forth.
My favorite was he says Dylan is his name, and she calls him Mr. Dylan, and he says no, first name Dylan, and so then she calls him first name Dylan,
Yeah, and
and I was like, ugh.
I hate it. Anyway, they're like they flirt for honestly
I like
15
that.
seconds. No one's like that. Well, whatever.
Well, and then
they-
there's a part where she calls him out on like, he looked at her ring finger. She's like
Yeah.
counting the number of times he's looking at her ring finger. and he uses some sort of joke or some line that he's clearly used before to pick up women. So again, this guy was betting $100,000. He's cased the joint. He's a pickup artist. Like, how does he not steal a diamond at some point in this
Right.
movie?
He's obviously the bad guy.
Yeah, he is.
Oh wait, this is also when Nelson, the guy who made the phone call at the beginning, he buys a $5,000 bottle of champagne for everyone. So he's rich too. We're all just like throwing money away left and right.
Yeah, that's the Poseidon, baby.
He talks about how like his boyfriend left or he didn't show up for the boat or something. That's when they like do a close up on the earring.
They really hold. And they hold the shot on
and
the
you're
earring.
like, oh, I don't know why we had to know who came.
But he calls out people at the table for knowing that his boyfriend had left him or something.
Left or cheated or I don't
like
know.
Again,
what.
there was backstory there that like we never saw, and it doesn't mean anything for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he's gay. I don't know why we had to even. It doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Gay points. You get points with the community, right? That's how it works.
So then we cut to the captain, the workers, and this is when they're like something feels off, and they keep kind of like looking around and all that.
You know what's coming.
We have the New Year's Eve countdown. Everybody's excited. And then, oh shit, in the binoculars, there's a rogue wave coming at us. They try to turn the boat. That's not happening anytime soon. And this is when Nelson's about to, like, jump off the boat.
He's going to kill himself, right? I think.
I guess.
Right.
He's, like, about to fling his leg over, and he's like, shit, is that a rogue wave?
Shit.
Which I feel like that shouldn't stop you if that was...
Guess I'm going anyway. Might as well.
What? So he runs back in the ballroom, which seems like that flipped real quick.
Yeah.
Over the announcement, I think they like say something. Essentially, they're like panic, and people just start freaking out, and then the rogue wave like hits. It goes real effing fast.
This is all first maybe 10, 15 minutes. The wave hits the ship, and we are capsized. I would say within the first 12 minutes.
It goes, and it's not like, whoa, what should we do? It is like straight up, like people just like dying left and right,
like graphically.
Non-stop.
Graphically, yeah.
This is where the movie changed for me, and I'm like, whoa, this is kind of different, and like nobody's safe, and all these sorts of things, and I started to get a little more interested, just because it was not going to be like, here's a wave hitting Tokyo. Here's a wave hitting New York. I don't care about that. These people died gruesome deaths.
Yes, there was people dying gruesome deaths. That's a good way to put it. Like I was like, wow. Like
no, you would follow people as they like break their back on something.
Bouncing off of shit onto and then land on a chandelier because it's upside down. It was unreal.
And there's like fire there's explosions and fire in the kitchen.
Some of these were pretty funny because it would clearly just be a stuntman with his forearms lit on fire, like Frankensteining through the scene, kind of.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I know it. Like, and it went on for a while. Like,
it's very long.
Because it was long enough for me to watch enough of the deaths to go, wow, they're showing a lot of people dying, and then later on need to write another note during the same scene. Graphic, what the fuck?
It was. It's like you thought the boat should be tipped or done or whatever, and instead it was like no, an elevator's like slashing someone apart. Like,
and just when you think it's over, like, things settled. There's a little bit of water on the floor, like an electrical cord comes down, and like 8 people, like, are fried to death. And it shows
once
each
again,
one.
They show
Here's person 1 dying. Here's person 2 dying. Here's person 3 dying.
Messed up.
Yeah.
It's pretty nonstop for what feels like 20 minutes of people dying. Oh yeah.
It culminates in this scene here.
Well, hold on. We're not there yet.
All right.
And later too, when they're doing stuff, there's always just a body like.
I like that. Though.
There's bodies everywhere.
I like that.
Right.
They're kind of like hitting the walls and like there's.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Where like this sort of felt like it couldn't commit to being a horror movie bit. So I don't know, but like.
But it was halfway there.
they're trying to go somewhere, and it's like, well, we know which way the water's flowing because it's bodies floating by, right?
Right.
And
Oh
I
man.
don't know. It's like, should we go down this pit? And there's bodies being sucked
Like-
into the hole they're trying to go into, and it's like, no, let's not go down that. Like that actually happens.
Yeah, I know. We can't go in the bow.
They're about to dive in, and some dude just like right past them, and it's like, oh shit, we don't want to go in there.
So the dad, Kurt Russell, pushes like bodies off of him, like
Yep.
dead people, and then he gets
No, they
up.
like comically stand up, and then they're just dead and
like
fall
we
forward.
did that Bernie style for a second.
It's like they like rise like zombies, but it was really just him pushing them up. Like he's that strong.
Oh, can you imagine pushing two dead bodies off of
Right.
you?
400 pounds.
And then the daughter and the boyfriend, so they were in like a different area because they were dancing. The boy,
yeah.
they're both alive, but the boyfriend's leg is pinned under like lighting scaffolding, which
Yes, they were
I
in
don't
the
think would-
disco. I think
The
I don't
heaviest
think
lighting scaffolding
would be,
ever made.
yeah, it wouldn't be heavy. Like it's a thing that
Right.
usually hangs.
it's designed
not,
to be light.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like we're gonna put the most weight above everyone. And then Elena, who's the girl who snuck on the ship, is trying to help the daughter get the thing off the boyfriend's leg because it's like pinned.
Really?
Maggie is looking for her stupid kid. Well, he's not stupid
I know where
here.
he
I
is.
That's
can't
the one name I know because they yell
I know where
Connor
he is.
so often in the movie.
Connor. Connor's like on the
I found him.
piano that is
I
in
love
the
this.
ceiling.
I love that they paid attention to know that the piano would be bolted down on a ship.
Would be bolted
Right.
down.
Right?
Yeah. But they very quick. This isn't a problem long. 2 seconds. He's like, somebody get a blanket, and they just firefighter him. He just jumps down.
doofus. Yeah, and he
It's
falls
done
like
within-
40 feet into a blanket. 10
You guys
seconds
are-
flat.
It's done.
You're convincing me that like this movie's better than I gave it credit for. All the little like attention to detail stuff, the bodies getting sucked
There's
down the
things
hole.
I like about this. Like you joke about the bodies, but how many times were they trying to get somewhere and they're just pushing random shit out of the way? It's just
Right.
chairs,
Piles
and
of trash.
bodies,
Yeah, which
and
it definitely would
garbage.
be.
And it's like, yeah, it would be just everywhere. It would be everywhere. You'd be moving so slow through the ship.
You're making me like this more.
There's parts I like about this.
Yeah, like that's good. The main plot line of
no,
the
it's
people is not
I mean,
good.
the attention to detail is there. The rest of it is like, we got to make a movie. Ship flips
Yeah.
upside down. That's it. Do they
Right,
survive?
that's the end.
I don't care. Who are we gonna hire? Douchebag.
Yeah, we need a douchebag main character. This
What's
is
Kurt-
when that loose
Kurt Russell
wire
doing?
wire electrocutes like everyone by the daughter
a
and
bunch of
boyfriend.
people.
Like
bunch of
everyone who
people.
was alive is now dead. over
Everyone
there.
who was about to help rescue the boyfriend.
Yeah,
They are all dead.
they're all
now.
dead.
Yeah.
So then the main guy, I guess he's the captain. I didn't know. The crew member guy who's in like the main ballroom lobby area, whatever
that's
area
the
that is.
captain.
He's
With
like,
Fergie.
you guys, it was just a rogue wave, which he says it like it's no big deal. Like the
He's
boat
pretty
is completely upside down.
Right.
He's pretty casual.
A giant cruise ship is upside down.
You're literally standing on the ceiling, and he's like, it should only be a few hours. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, his delivery, he's sort of like they say very clearly, okay, when it got hit, the emergency automatic alert beacons go
Yeah.
off. They've already notified people on shore. It's going to be at max 3 hours, and then he just kind of like, so just chill the fuck out. Would everybody just
we
and,
got all
like-
this New Year's champagne.
Yeah, right.
he just like he butchers the delivery at the end of the message. I don't know
Yeah.
what he says, but he kind of like, can you guys just settle down? Would you
Right?
just
He's like,
relax?
what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
like he just
right.
kind of okay.
Like, what do you expect? It's a rogue wave.
Which is like our rogue waves.
What did
a
you think
thing,
was
is
gonna
what I
happen?
would say.
Guys, it's a rogue wave. Duh.
Duh.
Like,
What do you think it was?
I
A
realize
tsunami?
We're literally swimming in dead bodies. Can you just take a breath, for goodness sake?
That
Chill
too. I
out.
feel like at this point, though, people are either like fine or dead. There's no one who's like, my
Yes.
leg got
Yes.
ripped off in the
That's true.
process. That's not
true.
happening.
No one's hurt.
It's
You
like,
either died.
just hang out, even though we're surrounded by dead bodies. Just hang out for a few hours. Like,
Yep.
nobody is like, there's something
Good
through my
point.
arm. Like, that's not
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
I think he has a little cut on him, but he's not too bad.
I think there's a point where the captain and Kurt Russell are walking side by side, and they're both holding the opposite elbow of one another. Like they weren't given enough direction on set to like, okay, you're injured, so just show us how you're injured. And so they both did an elbow grab
They're
and
both
walked
doing
through
that.
the crowd right next to each other. I'll
Seems
I'll
about
find a
right.
screenshot.
This is where Dylan is like, I got to get out of here. Which once again is like, why? He just said
He's
help
gotta
is on the
steal
way.
the jewels. There's something on board.
Right.
And he is like, I'm not going to sit here and die. I'm leaving. Like right away, he is angry
Yeah,
that someone
2
even
hours.
said, yeah.
Well, now he has his chance to steal the jewels,
Well,
just like you said.
This is exactly what I'm thinking about. I go,
Yeah.
okay, here's a movie. He's gonna mess it up trying to get the jewel, and he's gonna kill all these people in the process.
That would have
Which
been
is
way
true,
more interesting.
except there's no jewel. He's just a jerk, and he wants to leave.
Wouldn't that have been more interesting if by the end it was
Yeah.
like, but what are we doing in this room?
And
And, he's like,
you know, and he
"For
like,
the-" yeah.
I got the Eye of Agamotto or whatever.
right. That's what actually brought on the rogue wave.
Right? There you go.
It was Tafiti. It was the eye of
And
Tafiti.
then Tom Cruise, the
Taka
mummy,
is
comes
who
out.
flipped the ship over.
We're just-
And The Rock in a big Maui suit. And Fishhook gets him and flies away. You know?
So when Dylan, but also he's like, he's looking at the ship, you know, the here's the exits kind of thing, the map. He's looking at it like it's going to give him all the info he needs.
Yeah.
Which,
but
I'm sorry, if I saw that, I'd be like, I don't know where I am or how to,
again,
like,
I'm thinking he's just trying to orient himself for the diamond. He knows this ship inside out. And he comes back to the
That's
map
true.
multiple times throughout the movie. I'm like, okay, we're going to get the diamond. All right. It's the crown's
Okay,
about
now.
to show up. Whatever it is, the chalice.
nope. When he's doing that, then the dad sees him and is like, well, I want to come too. Well, then Maggie and the kid are like, well, if you're going, I think I should
I
come.
don't
with."
understand
So everyone's
that.
like jumping on board. Then Nelson's like, here. And he
I'm
just
bored.
also, yeah.
Like,
So the whole group says they're going to go with him. And the captain says how they're going to seal the doors so no water can come in that area. So it's like, if you leave,
Yeah.
touch it, you're stuck. You're trapped. And they're all like, yeah, sounds good. And they all leave with him.
Well,
and then the doors seal.
and they explicitly explain that, like, okay, this room, which is airtight, and we're going to seal the doors, is the buoyant room holding this ship up. So,
Yeah.
like, you're not coming back in. No matter who you find or what gem you steal, you're not coming in. Like, you die out there no matter what.
Yeah.
So, I don't.
And they say that's fine. They trust him, even though they like just met him. So, but
Yeah.
they go for it. We cut back to the girlfriend or the girl and the boyfriend and Elena. Elena's looking for something to get leverage. They like the word leverage in this for the boyfriend's leg. And out pops Lucky Larry, who was playing poker with them earlier, like out of a pack of dead
Oh,
bodies.
that's
This
right.
guy's just an asshole.
This guy's annoying. But
It
essentially
makes the
they all
main
help
character look nice.
the
Yeah.
boyfriend.
That must be his only purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make Dylan not look so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they get the boyfriend out. And they never show how his leg apparently is not hurt because he's
It's
fine for
fine.
the rest of the movie. So I
Just-
don't know
It
what.
looked pretty hurt at first, though. She was like, "It's not.
I don't know.
It's not cut. I'm just gonna put some pressure on it." But then, they showed a cut, and then immediately,
He's,
they
like,
show him walking
climbing.
like normal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Very confusing.
So they have to get across the boat, and they find some guy who works there, and they're like,
Right, because this is the climb
yeah.
to the bottom of the boat begins, right?
Yes.
I still
Let
feel
the
like
fun begin.
I don't. Okay, they obviously had some plan. In my mind, I go, "There's no like secret doors
Right,
at the
there's
bottom
no
of the
hatch
boat."
on the bottom.
So why
Not
are
that
we
I'm
going to
aware
the
of.
bottom?
I need to find the. This was.
understand.
I did find this confusing. Where's the tagline from the?
It doesn't make any sense. Why you'd be like, we need to get to. Yeah, I know the bottom's up right now, but what are you gonna saw a
Well,
hole in
and-
the bottom? I don't
and-
understand.
you know, like I'm no boatsman, ship's mate. Isn't like a solid one half of the boat underwater? Like,
Yeah.
and it's all sealed, right? It's just ballasts and tanks and service ways. There's not much in there, I don't think. And an
Yeah, I
engine
don't-
room and
I love
fuel
this
tanks.
poster. I'm gonna try to share this into the thing
I
in a
don't
little
get it.
bit.
You're able?
I don't know.
I don't know what they were thinking, but they essentially like hire a guy who works there to be like, where are the stairs? Where's these back entryways? And he says his name is Valentine. Okay, so he's going with them,
Hold on.
and yeah,
It would be like rolling your SUV and trying to climb out through the floor
yeah,
of the car,
right. You're
like-
like, I'll go out this way,
or trying to climb through the engine bay. I'm gonna crawl
It-
through the dash into the engine bay of the car.
So I've also found it didn't
Doesn't
make any sense.
any sense.
In my limited research into the book, it is that they were trying to get, because they thought the only air was at the bottom of the ship. Their plan was to get somewhere where the hull is thin enough that people could hear them knocking to cut through and get. So in both
But
in
I
both the
think
book,
it's not like people are like, I don't know, is anyone in there? Like they're gonna just say
They know they're
this
in
movie
there.
Yeah.
movie turns out different. But in both the book and the original movie, they're rescued by getting into the propeller shaft where there's only one layer of metal between the outside of the hull and the outside, and then that's where rescuers cut them out. They
That
cut a
seems-
hole, and then there they are. What's funny is in the
It's not
book,
like a tin-
after they go through this,
Right, it's
we'll
not-
get through this hell that we're going to talk about. They are getting pulled out the back after going through all this, and at the same time, all the people who waited in the room up front are also getting just pulled out normally.
which I really enjoyed that.
I do
Where
like
they're like,
that.
hey, Dumbo.
And they didn't do that in the movie.
Idiots.
So they're trying to go open an elevator and then go out like a different elevator door across
let the fun
shaft.
begin.
Yeah. This
So
is
they
where
take like a kitchen like prep table, flip it, and kind of like balance it in there so
It's
that
like
they
50-foot long table.
Yeah, it doesn't. And someone's like, "Whoa!" the way they're like holding it, but they get it, and like Dylan gets over there. I don't know, how does he open up the other one? Whatever.
I
It
don't
doesn't-
remember. It
does he
doesn't
say he
matter.
needs leverage again?
I don't know, probably.
I feel like every 10 seconds they're like, we need something for leverage, and it was like the key word to take a shot. But they get like pretty much everyone over there. And then it's Nelson and Valentine, the staff member who's helping them. And first of all, they're fighting about who goes next. He's like, you go. No, you go. No, you go. Just somebody go. I don't.
Yeah.
Also, is Valentine the guy who snuck on?
That's
think
my
so.
question. It's
I think
it's
he
her
was.
it's her brother, isn't it?
No, it's actually just some random guy, she says
Oh,
later. She's going to
okay.
see her brother.
Because with how the scene ends, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
whoopsie.
I thought this
Yeah.
was going to come back to
Whoopsie.
I
bite
thought it was her
somebody.
boyfriend, and I was like,
I thought it was her
"Uh-oh, man."
brother, and I'm I was like,
So like, and during all this, the elevator slowly, it's above them, of course, and it's like slowly doing this. It might fall, it might fall. So Nelson and Valentine are about to come up, and the table falls, or what, I don't know, whatever. Valentine's
Something- yeah.
hanging from Nelson's leg, and Dylan's holding him, and they're trying to get them up, but the elevator's about to fall. And this is when Dylan shows his true
Man,
colors. He
oh,
says,
man.
"Just kick him off. Just get rid of him. Just kick him off."
yeah, like
And Nelson's like, I can't do that, and he's like, you go ahead, just kick
You
him.
have
Like,
to.
and Nelson looks down, and goes, sorry, and kicks him off.
that's
This-
what I'm saying. Like this movie sometimes is like a hard. This is like Saw 7. Like sometimes it's like this is messed up.
It's on, but it was like too realistic, right? Like they
Right.
actually, we can't
You
save both
would
of them. Either we all die or you kick this guy off.
Yeah.
Right.
And he says sorry and starts, and he
And he-
doesn't just kick him off. He
Right.
starts kicking him
he's,
off
like,
of him,
kicking
and the
him.
guy is
Multiple
holding on
kicks.
with dear life, trying
Yeah.
to hang on. This is
He does
and,
not make it, by the way.
like
He falls on the spikes at the top of the elevator shaft, as we all know is what's at the top of
They
an
keep
elevator
spikes
They
at
shaft.
the
keep
top.
spikes.
The-
Then the elevator explodes onto him.
Yeah, I don't understand why
Like,
it blew
even
up.
if he
Everything explodes.
happened,
Why is there
even
a
if-
bomb in the elevator?
Everything is explosive in this movie. Like if it's
Even underwater.
Right,
it's-
there's not even any oxygen for an explosion to happen, and things are blowing up, and there's fireballs. From what?
There's
like, from
fireballs
where?
underwater later.
Like what's
Like-
where's the
I
oxygen
think there's a
coming
whole
from?
series of like guest rooms that just blow out the side of the ship.
Oh, why?
Completely underwater. It's just
Right?
bang, 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 bang. Like that guy's gas tank blew up. That guy's gas tank blew up. That guy's. These are guest rooms we're talking about. It's not. Anyway.
It didn't make
It's very
any sense.
strange.
But like, keep in mind, mere moments ago, Nelson was on the edge of the ship, ready to throw himself off, and
Right.
now he's hanging for dear life, kicking
someone
somebody
else.
else who's trying to save themselves off of him.
It's a
This is like
dog-eat-dog
some
world.
twisted up stuff. I was like, and then, and the very next thing that happens is, I thought this was like the boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
He has to then explain what he just did to the woman who was in this guy's room.
Yeah, she was like
Yeah.
hidden in his. No, but I don't think he ever says who. Like
He
she
never
doesn't
tells
know.
her. He never
No,
Yeah.
tells
he
her.
never does.
no.
And that's
he's
why I'm
not-
like, okay, cool. This is going to come up later. This is going to be a big
I thought it was
thing
gonna
for
exactly.
him.
Oh, he took it to
He's-
his
no,
grave, man.
He's going to have to sacrifice himself later for her because he has a guilty conscience about killing her
Yeah.
brother or boyfriend or friend or whatever.
No.
No.
Nope.
Not only does he kill
Never comes up.
Valentine,
He lies to her
He
face.
doesn't- You act like he's stabbing people left and right. Man,
She-
that'd be even better
she
if there's
dies
like a
too.
murder in the.
Problem
Yeah.
solved.
I couldn't believe she dies too, though.
That's
Like,
true.
Problem solved.
What the hell, man?
That was very
takeaway,
strange,
just,
though.
Just
Crazy.
lie until everybody around you is dead. Just,
It's
So yeah,
true.
they
just keep going. Just
They
keep
make it-
lying.
out of the elevator and they run into the daughter, the boyfriend, Elena, who's just like, oh, I snuck on the ship with some guy, and Nelson's just
Yeah.
listening to this, not like, yeah, I just hit that guy off in the
Yeah,
elevator.
she,
She's like,
she spills her heart out to him.
she's like, I shouldn't be here, all this stuff, and he's just like, sounds
Ah,
tough.
Such a
shit,
Like,
weird
that sucks.
scene because only us, the audience, know that, like, get it. It's a scene for us, right?
Which
Because
is great. But
because
there's
there's
no payoff.
there's
No.
like
Goes
there's
nowhere.
hundreds of staff people on the ship. There's no way Nelson would ever think that the guy he just kicked down the elevator shaft is the same guy she's
Right.
talking about.
Right.
And there's no reason for her to ask, did you just kill a staff guy? And so it never comes up. Right?
but
Even
come
though
on.
we know he just killed the
It went
guy
everywhere.
that she's talking to him about.
That's
Also-
why,
Uh-huh.
where's the scene 20 minutes later where like she confesses, it was my fiance that snuck me on because we were trying to get to
yeah, right?
this place or something, right? And he just
Nothing.
can't handle it. And so
No.
he
No.
does something later to save them. Nope.
It was just a
Nope.
sneaky little side mission for us.
Yeah.
Little peek behind the curtain.
Not even close.
So they're in some room and they need to open a door and they constantly are talking about flash fires.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
that's the
the main
story of this
theme.
movie.
Like
It's-
somebody read the Wikipedia page for what a flash fire and what a rogue wave are and said I can make a movie out of this. And
Every
leverage.
room they enter is like
These
looks
are-
looks like a flash fire. Every room they enter. Oh, why is it like
flash
this?
fire.
Flash fire.
Yeah.
It somehow comes up that both Dylan and Kurt Russell
Know about flash
were
fires.
on submarines at some point.
Is
I
it?
don't understand. It's mentioned
It's
like
way
he said-
later. It's
Okay.
way
he says
later.
you were
yeah.
on a sub, right, or something like that. Which, like, I get it, right? Fires in a submarine is a death sentence because it consumes all the oxygen and everybody suffocates. Like,
But just it's every room. They see a dead person, they're like, flash fire. That's
Or they'll come up
every
to a
time.
door and he touches it and he's like, this is, I think, straight out of the movie. I don't know if there's a fire back there or if it was a flash fire. And now it's not." And so, like,
they don't tell us
one
what a
dude
flash
gets a
fire is.
broom to pull the door open and the other guy gets a fire extinguisher.
yeah.
Which I like how they went into that doorway, like, just spray the thing. Don't
Yeah.
even
They
wait
were like,
for the
just
fire
get crazy.
to, you know. But then it was like, well, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Oh.
then once it opened and there was no fire, they looked at each other and did the
Shit,
flash fire.
They
Right.
could go back to back, look into the camera, and flash fire.
Right, and while they're doing that, there's like 100 dead bodies that are
Yeah,
burned to
just
death in front of them
everywhere.
on the
Roasted.
floor.
Yeah. Crackling.
So then they get to, I don't know if they're in the lobby. They're in an area where
This
it was.
movie's crazy.
It is insane now that I think about it. I don't anyway.
They're in an
No
area where you
thoughts.
could see like all the floors, and it would be like all the elevators on the side, which a
Yeah.
bunch of them like fell over. Yeah, there you go.
I thought this
I don't know
was,
if it's
I
the
thought they
lobby
had,
or.
I thought they had somehow circled around to the Fergie room, but they clearly were not in the Fergie room.
No, I thought so too at first.
I
though.
also thought it's funny you say that. I thought they had circled around to a higher level of the Fergie room. They had
Right.
returned.
And I was like,
And
cool,
they were
now
gonna,
climb
like-
down and relax for 90
Right.
minutes and wait.
They were
to be
gonna
rescued.
lord their higher status above them.
Look at us,
how
you
high we've
assholes.
gotten.
I'm 4 floors above you.
What I think is funny about this scene in particular, and this picture here, is of all the things that they show
could've
ahead
done.
and then come back to later, they don't ever do that. They don't do that with any of the stuff they're gonna do. The only thing that they show and come back to later is this scene right here. When the ship is flipping over, you see the
yes.
elevator come off the
Yes.
wall,
Yeah.
and a lady falls out of it, and then here we are, and the elevator
She gets
is now.
yeeted out of the glass of the elevator.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty
that's
sure
the
she
thing.
bounces off of a wall into the water below.
Oh my god.
And you're not exaggerating.
No.
Like anytime somebody dies, it's like you
see the whole
smash
thing.
into something.
Or you see their like neck snap and they fall to the side. Like it's very.
Maybe that's what they
intense.
got the visual effects award from, because
Dead
those
body.
could have been just stunt doubles. Like people were
No.
getting like destroyed.
So they're crossing this like elevator half broken area to the other side, and so half the people are across, and this is when like Lucky Larry shows up and he's like drunk, which you're like, where did you?
I
don't
totally
underst-
forgot this guy was here.
Yeah.
And
But
now I just-
also, sorry, we just did this bit like 10 minutes ago. We just went across a narrow bridge over a large
That's-
opening
Yeah.
in the elevator. And I was,
They,
how many times
We're
are we going to
back.
do this? Here we
Here
are
he is.
crossing again. Is that him?
yeah,
that's
that's
him.
him.
That's Lucky Larry.
What's his name? Matt Dillon, I think, is the actor.
It's not Matt Dillon.
It's one of the
it's
Dillons.
It's
his
something
older
Dillon.
brother.
No, it's his.
He
it's
looks
Kevin
like a
Dillon.
chef.
Kevin Dillon.
Kevin.
He
Kevin
looks
Dillon.
like a Kevin.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off, but I
No,
couldn't
but-
believe that we were doing the same stunt.
Oh, it's the same like whoa, which
Yeah.
they kind of do throughout the whole thing. But
Yeah.
so half the crew gets over, or not
Who's
crew,
this?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
Oh, you know
got to
what?
be a
Is that
double
like-
for Kurt Russell.
but or is that
That's
like
not
the
him.
director? Like maybe it's like a scene where it's. I just was trying to find this scene.
Who is this guy? He's not in the movie.
He's not in the movie.
maybe,
No,
maybe it's like a producer guy.
could be
you know
behind
what I
the
mean?
scenes,
Behind
yeah.
the scenes. So
he's
Lucky
not
Larry
in the movie.
is all of a sudden like, it's my turn. I should go first, and he's like being a douchebag and
Yeah,
stuff.
he like really comes out hot. Like
He
I
all
don't
of a sudden he has
understand it.
things to say. He like has a flask. He's drinking left and right. So they're like, sure, go across, whatever. Like
Knock
you
yourself
do
out.
it. And he's halfway across. He drops his flask and he's like freaking out. And then like a diesel engine like shoots out of the
what
ceiling.
the hell
and
was this? This thing falls faster than acceleration due to gravity. It shoots down
Yeah.
at him. Something propelled it at him. And it looks,
he's very dead at that point.
I don't know if they know what an engine looks like or what that was supposed to be. It just looks like a locomotive comes out of the
does.
ceiling.
It's
It
like
was so strange.
it's like just the engine block somehow. Like if
Yeah.
if you just somehow disconnected the entire diesel generator except
Yeah.
for the block. I don't know why.
Like if
I don't
like if
know.
the V6 in your car and the V6 alone shot out of the hood of your car, like disconnected from anything else.
One thing I really liked about this scene is the like conflict conclusion of the like they really make you hate this guy in a very short amount of time. Like I'm like this
Yeah,
guy is like
he's
a
a jerk.
big time jerk, and then Dylan
Bam,
and
he's
Kurt. Well, you're right, but Dylan and Kurt Russell, they look like they're like And they
All
just
right.
laugh it off. They're like, fine. They kind of laugh. They let him go. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. They're taking the high ground. And then he gets smashed by the rocket diesel engine. And it's like so satisfying to see this guy just like get destroyed by this 20-ton
It takes about
steel.
45 seconds for you to hate him,
Mm-hmm.
the other actors to decide not to start a fight with him, and then he's dead. That's it.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's within a minute.
I guess that's good acting. I don't know.
That's so. But when the motor fell, their little walkway fell too.
And here
Yes.
comes the
So
diesel fuel.
It's Dylan and the dad and the daughter on one side, and everyone
the
else on the
boyfriend,
other
right?
side.
Or
No, the boyfriend's on the other
Okay,
side. This is
you're
when the
right.
daughter. First of all, we're all trying to go to the same area, and the daughter's like, "I need to get to that side," and she starts panicking. You're like, "What is?" Yeah, we're all trying to get over there. Calm down.
We all got
Like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna go west and they go east. Like, we're all going there. She
Yeah.
starts panicking about she has to get over there. And the dad's like, "Yeah, we'll have to like find a different way." And she's like, "No, you don't know." Which I'm like, What are you talking
Yeah.
about?" She explains they're engaged, which once again does not justify your crazy attitude right now.
She also pulls out the engagement ring and then
Yeah.
puts it on her finger, which would imply that she got engaged and then immediately took the engagement ring off.
I think
so
yeah,
that my
because they
dad
were like
wouldn't
afraid to
see
tell
it?
the dad.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay, weird. Huh.
So they have a bunch of like weird mushy dad daughter moments where he's like, "Remember when you got lost when you were 7?" And she's like, "Daddy," and shit like that, which I just was like, ugh.
This was
Yeah, I
weird
just
because he
don't
says
like it.
he does that. He's like, "Do you remember when you got lost when you were 7?" And she, "Ah." And then he like runs off, and
Yeah.
she for a brief moment like
Thinks that he
Thinks
just
he
like
left?
her. Yeah.
to die, and then she she pulls out like a thing to. It was so strange.
It's very weird. They have their little moment, and Dylan is like, "F this, I'm not going
Or
around."
that's
which-
later. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's later.
no, but it
Yeah.
still happens though. And so Dylan ties a like a fire hose, emergency hose, whatever that's in the wall to his belt. He dives down 4 floors or whatever the heck it is into like the diesel filled water, swims under the flames on the water, goes out the
Classic.
other side, climbs up and ties the hose over there so they can like zip line down or I
Of
don't know.
course.
If he did that, I would go, "What do you want me to do now?" Like,
Also, didn't they just have an argument about needing to go up instead of going down? And then they
That's what I
like
thought, too.
the
I thought
nature
they
of a
were
zip
up.
line is that you must go down.
that's
So
what
I
I
don't
thought. I thought the other
understand-
ones were above them, but then he's like, "Zip line down," which isn't that defeating the whole purpose
I
of
don't-
what we're doing?
Plus, it like didn't seem that hard for him to just like, I'll just jump down and
Just
climb up
dive
the other
in and
side.
swim.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
don't we
Why
do
don't we
that
all do
instead?
that?
So this is when the dad walks away, and she's like, "Oh, Dad left
yeah, I
me." Which,
didn't-
of course,
like,
he wouldn't be that
Did you
pissed
think
that
he
he's like,
left?
I was like, where's he going? Like, I guess he's just
But
leaving.
they really like dwell on her like, "Oh, I'm
yeah, she like
7 and
almost
lost
starts
again."
crying. Ugh.
It's like he's around the corner.
Yeah,
He's right there.
right.
And sure
So
enough, he
he-
comes back with some
Like
tool
handlebars,
that's
like
meant for the job. Which is
yeah.
like, I don't know
So-
what it was.
He knew exactly
This
where it
is
was.
when though he's like, "Are you too old to hang on my
this is
back one
awful.
more time?" And she's like, "Daddy," like shit. Which I just want to be like, can we stop this really
was a
creepy
very
daddy
weird-
daughter
Yeah.
thing?
Also, then he manages to
Yeah.
zip line down the zip line with somebody on his back holding smooth, like polished,
Yeah.
smooth metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard enough to hold yourself on a normal zip line with a good grip, much less.
Like 150
The
pounds on your
piggyback
back.
didn't make any sense, especially because she already had. She took off her belt and she was ready
Right.
to
She
zip
was like
line.
ready to
She
go.
was ready to go.
I was like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that would have been fine. We don't have to
No, we
rip
gotta
Kurt
do it his
Russell's
way.
arms out of his sockets.
They make it just fine though, which is weird because. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
I can just see him be like, "Ugh," and immediately they both fall onto the diesel engine.
That is
but
what would happen, right?
That's
You'd
what would
step
happen.
over and you'd immediately realize you have 350 pounds of weight on your hands and you just let go. Right? And she would hit her head on the surface behind you or
Yeah,
whatever.
it would
like
be
it would
such
be
a mess. It was so weird. So they get over there and they realize the water's been like rushing in. It starts rising. The diesel engine's like exploding. There's always explosions
There's
everywhere.
always explosions
Yep.
in oxygen-free environments.
So then we cut back to that main area, ballroom, whatever, with all the people, and all the windows start cracking. The pressure,
Oh,
I guess,
baby.
from maybe the diesel engine explosion.
Yeah,
I don't
really,
know.
it was
Is it supposed to relate?
it was the explosions that were setting it
Is
off.
that
I don't
what
know
it was?
why.
Okay.
The windows start cracking. The captain knows what's about to happen.
Yeah,
He
you
doesn't
can
say
see that
anything.
he's
He knows.
ready
so.
to die here.
Fergie gives him a hug, and
Which,
the water
like-
rushes in and kills them all.
Yeah,
And that's it.
they all die.
Done.
Fergie gives him a hug.
Fergie
They
knows,
show
too.
their
She
secret
saw it.
relationship.
Yeah, I
They
didn't know
have a
what that
really
meant
tender
either.
moment where it's like, do you guys know each other? I don't
I
understand.
know. I want to be like,
Like,
are
why-
you dating? What is
Why
happening?
would they do that?
There was a half an hour of this movie that's all intro and setup, where Fergie is the daughter of the captain. The guy is here to steal the gem.
right.
You know, here's why he's a butthole. Here's the drunk guy. Here's why the kid matter. They just cut all of that and went, show us the rogue wave,
Done.
baby.
Right. Flip this ship.
Wait, baby.
That's it. It's a boardroom chant. Flip the ship. Flip. And they cut
And the
out
storyboard
30
guy is just having to like rip stuff down. But they didn't change anything after the ship flips. They
Right.
left
They
it all
just
in.
cut it all
Just every
out.
They just
ripping
cut the
down
front
the
off.
pages. Oh my gosh. So as we know, everyone on the ship but the 5 people we're watching are dead. Everyone
Yes.
else is dead.
And you get
Like-
an extended ASMR 500 people drowning to death in a ballroom part where like the mom covers the kid's ears and
Yeah.
everybody's just looking
Which is like
towards
I don't,
the screams and
It
you
is
hear them.
messed up.
Yeah. Yep.
This.
Yeah.
You just listen to people drown to death for
Yeah,
30
you're right.
seconds.
The mom is like, I'll just cover his ears, which like there haven't been dead bodies we've been crawling over.
Right.
But
We
okay.
crawled over a numerous
true.
dead people.
That's true.
But okay, so the group needs to get through some
Phew.
rooms. I don't know. Water's
group,
rushing everywhere.
The gang.
I don't know. So then they're like,
Mystery.
I have a good idea for a nightmare. Let's go in the vents. Seems
Oh
like a
my
logical
God,
place to
man.
go.
Why the vent?
I don't know. It's okay where they are here. It looks like there's lots of choices.
Sure, just
We
climb
could
right.
go. We could
Go
go
up.
anywhere. And instead, they go in a room and they go, the vent's the only way out.
Only
Why
way.
are you in that room?
No.
Get out of the room. This room looks
And
like it has
man,
lots of air.
And they pack in the vent like sardines.
Ugh, it is
before
like,
anybody has a plan for what we're gonna do.
and in the vent is like you said, Ken. It is like it's not like I'm crawling on my knees. It is you are wiggling on your like it is a little vent.
It's
Yeah.
like spelunking or cave
Ooh.
where they
It's also-
crawl
yeah,
through tiny
yeah.
caves.
It's my nightmare.
There's even a
Um,
dent in the vent where it's tighter.
Yeah, where it's like it kind of like
the
shimmies
vent
left
also
and right.
conveniently
And
has footholds in it for when you're going up and down.
Right.
Yeah, what was
Needs-
that?
Thankfully, there's footholds. I like how the dent in the vent. Like I'm like, well, that's like they clearly showed it. You're like, that's gonna come up.
and it
That's
doesn't
gonna
immediately-
pinch somebody or something.
No,
yeah.
but Nelson
A
gets
guy
stuck.
gets caught in it.
Yeah, but it wasn't because of the dent.
No,
right?
he just kind of slipped and his
Just
arm
by
was
luck.
like under him.
right.
Yeah.
The dent sort of saved him from sort of like
Not
dominoing
shooting
the
down.
entire column of
Yeah,
people back
yeah.
down.
Well, that's the thing. They go. So I think Kurt Russell's in front. Or, yeah, and
Yeah.
he goes
Oh,
straight.
This
and
is
then,
the part where they
Well, hold on. He
This
goes,
is pretty intense.
He
This
goes
whole
up.
scene is pretty hardcore.
Which right away I'd be like, well, the vent goes up. I guess we can't.
Yeah,
like,
we're screwed.
What are we gonna like
It's a
Spider-Man
friggin'
up this
smooth
shit?
vent wall.
And we're all wet. Like there's water everywhere. And but instead they're just like, yeah, we'll do it. Which I don't like. You said. I guess
Well, it's
there's like.
there's
Oh, it's
Little-
so small.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
big. He's
is-
barely fitting in
He's
this.
barely
this is
fits.
where like this movie
I don't.
inches towards horror. Where like this
Yeah.
got me anxious just from a claustrophobic thing,
Mhm.
right? And,
And
not to mention
Elena
that there's water
hates it, too.
coming up the vent. Like I
That's the
loved her
thing.
freak out. Like that was
So,
super intense.
Elena at one point was like, just go without me. I'd rather die in this
I'd
room.
rather drown. than
Which I
climb
would
in that
also
vent.
probably say that at that point.
Yeah, I'll find something
Um,
else. You guys go. Not getting
yeah,
in
you-
there
You do you, not my
because
thing.
there's water in the vent. They know
Yeah.
there's water in the vent.
And thereter water
Right.
rushing in the room, and it's So they eventually get her to go. It's at the end. It's Nelson, her, and Dylan. Hold on.
Yes.
Then you can comment. So then at one point Nelson gets stuck, like his arm's stuck under. Elaine has to like push him out.
Slips and
He
like
like
gets
slips and like
wedged
goes down.
in the vent.
And he's
and
like,
can't
uh-oh,
move.
like when
Ow, shucks. Not
He's like-
again.
And Dylan
Keeps
is
showing his
like,
hand is why he's
is,
stuck.
like,
I don't know
stuck.
why.
No,
it
I
was
get it because
he can't lift his arm
He
out.
can't get his
to-
arm around
Ah,
his
It was
thick
he
booty.
fell like on his shoulder.
Right.
So Elena has to push him out, but Dylan's pretty much like underwater, being like, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, like at the bottom. and when they get to the top, what do they find? A vent bolted
Duh.
on to the top.
Duh. Of course it's closed. What did you
What'd you
think
want
it-
to say, Ben?
When
Before
she's like, I'm not going in there, and
I would have been like, fine.
what if you
Yeah.
watch
Bye.
though? The camera like cuts between Nelson, it cuts to Dylan, and you can see he's about to say, "All right," and then it
Yeah.
cuts back to Nelson, and he goes, "Well, then we're not going in."
Yeah, and
Yeah.
You
Dylan
don't
was
go in,
like,
we're not going
in.
what?
And
You're
he's like,
right.
what?
Yeah, that's
Shit.
true. Yeah, the
Yeah.
like record scratch would happen on Dylan at the.
I bet you're wondering how I wound up in this vent drowning to death.
Right, but let's not like send somebody in to see if that's a way out. Let's all just pack in there as tight
Just-
as we can.
Just get in there as
And
tight
I,
as you
but
can.
you're right. I did
Why
like
didn't
this
they send
scene.
the kid at
Intense.
first, though? Why didn't they send the kid? You can crawl in there. Crawl up and tell us what you see before we all sardine pack in there. Why
But-
was that not a thing?
I like how there's this little mini story of like she won't go in and trying to get through, and Nelson getting stuck, and at the same time, Kurt Russell is having a panic attack because
Yes.
he cannot get this thing open, and
No.
it looks like
It's
thick
legit.
metal
It's like a
vent.
thick
He's like
metal grate.
banging
Well,
in
that's
a
the
way
thing.
that
He's
is like
like-
messing up his arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it shows him hitting it often enough to where like he's gonna break his elbow. He's gonna shatter
Yeah.
his arm. And that's what I thought was gonna happen is like he's
Right
just
then
gonna
he'd
break
be
his arm.
screwed.
And they'll be dead because he's at the top and they can't get past him.
Oh.
Instead, they grease up the boy. They slide the boy up with a
Well,
church necklace.
well, first though, they're like, "Hey, put
Sorry,
your
I'm
hands up
jumping
here," as if he's gonna unscrew it with his fingers. What do you think? These are the shittiest screwed-on vents ever. Like, if
That's somebody
like
just
hardcore bolted on.
Finger tighten this nut. Did they install this and just
doop,
should be
boop, boop,
good.
boop, boop.
and then even
Yeah.
when they loosen it, it's like spring loaded. Did you
Yeah, it
guys
doesn't make
notice that?
sense.
He kind of gets it undone eventually and it goes the whole screw
Maybe
comes
like
out.
they're saying with the water.
I don't know.
I don't
Anyway.
know. Yeah. Eventually, Elena hands up her cross necklace, and he uses it like a little screwdriver. Once again, a kid wouldn't be able to do it, but okay.
Yeah.
I know kids. A
He
kid
would
couldn't
not
do that.
be able to do that.
But
Yeah.
like, if you were
he
from
wouldn't,
down
he
below,
wouldn't stay focused. He doesn't understand where the slot is on the
Lefty
nut.
Lucy,
right.
or any of that.
Right. He would drop the necklace for sure. He would drop the necklace down the shaft into the water.
Even an adult, if you said from down below, you're gonna have your hand hooked.
No.
No, it would be
No.
on so tight.
I would be trying my hardest.
But it would.
They're gonna
okay.
die.
But they eventually make it. They get it off, and Dylan is like underwater and pops out
For a
at
bit,
the end
yeah.
to like crawl up.
That
So
I was
he's-
kind of hoping he would die there, but
This was like a horror, though.
That
this was a
was.
horror.
Trapped
That's
in
what
a
I'm
vent.
saying. This is a full
yeah.
10 minutes of like.
Well, at that point too, you're like, they could all just die in here, and the movie could end. Like,
That's the
I
thing.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I would not have been
Like-
surprised either if like maybe Kurt Russell made it out, and the
Yeah.
rest just died in that vent.
Right, and then it's his escape to the end.
Yeah.
But when they do
Crazy.
make it out, I notice that they're all happy, and Dylan kisses Maggie and Connor like they are a family.
Yeah.
And I found that so effing weird. They
Yeah.
met for 15 seconds before like Rogue Wave hit. What is happening? And now they keep acting like they're like dating at all times. It's like,
Again-
well, I'll take the boy. What are you, his dad now?
We're missing the
What?
backstory because there's a 5-minute bit where they're actually divorced. It's his son. They're on the ship. You know, they're, they have this sort of weird flirtatious, but we're not married anymore
And
thing.
they're like, but we can work it out. Like,
Right. He's a gem thief. She can't
Right.
marry a gem thief, obviously.
That's why she can see through his tricks so
Right.
well, because she
I
knows
know your
them.
tricks. I
Yeah.
used to work with you on
Yeah,
these heists.
And hey, that's why he's like sitting at the captain's table now, hey? Because she's
Right.
like actually dating the captain now. And he's
No.
like, what are you doing on the
yeah,
ship?
she was at the
Really?
captain table, which they also never.
That was his
explained.
line. He was like, "Oh, it's just dining at the captain's table now, pretty fancy or something like that." And she was like, "Oh, do you use that every time?"
Yeah, which is once again, if she knew the captain, why when he was like, "Hey, it's safe to stay here," why was she like, "I got a GTFO"?
Yeah.
What?
Weird.
It
I don't
never
know.
makes sense.
Because they
Weird.
used to be married. She knows he
Right,
can get out of a sticky
exactly.
situation.
Exactly. And
So
she wants
they-
in on the gem. She's going to
they-
double cross.
Get in this new room, and guess what? It's filling with water as usual.
Every
Because it
room
just
is.
came up the vent they were just in. And
Yeah, the
here
water
we are
literally
again.
came up with them. Like, they're not,
Um,
they didn't pick up any speed.
yeah.
Of course,
I
they
don't-
crawled through the vent into a room that is like no way out of.
Yeah, so they get into
Yeah.
a room that's like no way out. And Dylan says, well, like the vent on the wall is a pressure or something. So if there's enough water pressure on it, it'll open up to vent into the next room.
Well, how do they get into the ballast tank? It's
I
a
was gonna
hatch
say,
on the ceiling of that room.
You would
Is that-
never,
I-
yeah,
okay, I
you would
didn't
never go
remember.
from a vent into a ballast.
Yeah,
That
I
would
don't know
never
why.
work.
They're in a room,
You're right.
and then
there's a door.
Yeah.
there's a hatch to get into one of the ballast tanks.
But essentially he's like, so we'll just drown ourselves in the room and it'll pop open, we'll go in more.
We'll just
Which they do. They're like, I guess we'll do that. Which if I had the kid, I'd go, well, he can't hold his breath for like
Yeah.
8 minutes. What do you
we'll
want?
we'll go the other way again.
It-
Like I'll just go back and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna
You guys
walk
can do
around a
this
bit
little
because this isn't working.
Pressure cooker experiment on your own.
Apparently they all have Olympic lungs because
Yep.
the room fills up. They hang out for a good 30 seconds. I'd be dead, by the way, at this point.
Yeah.
The pressure thing is not opening, and Dylan's panicking, and they're all like "Blue, blue," underwater, like Sonic style. And do 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 do.
However that
And-
goes, yeah.
And he's like hitting it, and it finally bursts open. But after way too long. If you told an 8-year-old to hold your breath for like a minute and a half,
No way.
he'd be dead.
No way.
It bursts open, and they just like get sucked into another room. But I'm pretty sure they're still underwater, right?
well,
No,
they
it's
filled.
just
they-
another ballast.
Is
Yeah,
it just
somehow.
another room that fills right away, though?
Yeah.
The thing that they say is that when this ballast tank fills, there's an
Then
automated
another one,
valve that'll
right?
open into the next ballast tank to balance it out. What I didn't understand was why was there a hand valve in the ballast tank? Nobody would ever be in the ballast
I
tank
don't know.
Right.
opening the valve.
Right.
But that's fine, whatever. And then this weird automatic pressure thing. First of all, like,
But-
and it keeps flipping back to the control room for the ballast, and there's little lights flashing and
Yeah, it
stuff.
does
And
that
it's
a
like,
lot.
what I didn't understand is like how was all that stuff on? We saw the diesel generator
the-
fall through the ceiling.
All the lights went out at the beginning, but then they had lights on
and they
all
turned
over
it
the
back
place.
on. Are they on
Yeah.
battery?
Emergency? Like, I don't
But
know.
most
Backup.
battery stuff is like on an exit sign, like a fire exit sign
yeah,
has
it's
a
not
battery
like,
in
well,
it.
Sometimes there's,
But as you'll
I don't know.
see, this entire movie, the props have been spinning at full throttle the
Yeah,
entire
what's
time.
powering them?
Yeah.
We saw the
It doesn't make
motor.
sense.
Remember, it fell in that guy like a rocket ship, and then it blew up.
No.
That was just that one
That's
was
what I
just for
mean.
fun. That was for show.
That was for weight.
But like when they go in
Right.
the other room, they still have to swim underwater far and like around a corner.
Yeah.
Like, they
Yeah,
still
they
have
have
to
to
go
go-
really far.
yeah.
So when they're swimming, Elena gets caught, like her like skirt or whatever she's wearing, it gets caught in some
Oh,
wires
that's
hanging.
right. Yeah.
And
God,
her
they
trying
swam
to-
for like 5 minutes underwater.
This is what I mean. And the 8-year-old's just like on someone's back, like, okay.
Yeah, he's just-
like it doesn't
Dad, can we do the dolphin?
He would,
Underwater
like,
dolphin?
for like an hour though.
Right.
I did like how the kid rode on the
He rode on the
boyfriend's
boyfriend.
back, and when he's swimming with the kid on his back, he's like, look, it wasn't like
He's-
smooth and easy. He's
No, he's like
yeah,
panicking.
freaking out, like
Yeah.
trying
panicking.
to.
Yeah.
He is panicking.
Well,
Also-
Elena gets stuck.
Wouldn't
Oh,
you
I was just gonna say
grab
she,
shit
like-
and pull? Like,
Or also, like,
why
take
are
your
you
skirt
swimming at
off or
all?
whatever is the problem.
Everybody's got their goddamn shoes on.
Yeah, it
Take
doesn't
your
make
shoes
sense.
off to swim.
I don't. But
You can't
she
swim in shoes.
trying to get the wires off
She's
hits her head
panicking.
on something
Oh,
and like
yeah,
passes
man.
out. So when they all get, they're like in a stairwell is where they get out of the water, and they're like, "Well, where the heck is she?" They go back for it, get her. They try to CPR, but guess what? She's
She
just dead.
dies.
She's just-
I couldn't believe this.
I was like waiting for her to be like,
Yeah.
Nope. They're just like, I guess
They
she's
do
dead.
CPR
And that's
for
it.
like a minute and a half.
And the
And
water's
she's
rising
dead.
the whole
The
time.
water's rising in there, and they're like, we got to get out of here.
What's crazy is when they give up and they stand up to leave is right when the water crests
over
over her
her.
like face and mouth.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh.
Like this
Bye.
movie
See
has
ya.
these moments of like, God, this is grisly. Like, holy shit. I
It's-
can't believe, like,
I did not think she would die. Like, I did not.
especially
know.
when you're waiting for the old guy and her to have this moment where
Right.
he says, "Hey,
Hey,
I kicked your boyfriend to death, and he fell on spikes at the top of the elevator shaft. I need to make this
No.
up to you." Which, when he does go back and try to get her in the water.
He does, but she's
And I'm
been
like,
under
okay,
for a
this is
while.
it. I thought,
But
okay,
then-
this is it. They're gonna save her. He's gonna die under there, and
saving her or
somebody
something.
will,
Yeah.
Dylan will tell her, "Oh yeah, I told him to kill your brother, right? I commanded that he kick your brother down to his death." But she just dies.
No,
It was
she's dead, and they just
crazy.
leave her, and they're like,
Now he doesn't have to
done.
tell anybody.
Well, at this point,
They-
Megan had joined, and she's like, "You're just gonna leave her?" And having seen this much of this movie already, I was like, "Oh yeah, they're definitely just gonna leave her. What else are you
We don't.
supposed to
We
do?"
don't have time for a body.
We
yeah,
do not
no,
have time.
Sorry,
Right.
you are done. They're in a hallway. They're trying to find a way out, so they're like everybody spread out. This is when there's explosions under the water. The boat starts rocking like it might flip back.
I didn't
And that's-
understand that.
This is when, like you said, Ken, they're like, we need to go this way, but all the bodies are being like
Yeah.
sucked down a hallway.
It's like ripping bodies, like whitewater rafting into where they need to go, and they're just like,
Yeah.
shit.
And so that's
I
when they're
guess
like,
we
I don't
can't
know
go
what
there.
to do. Yeah. So then they're all just kind of hanging out in like a room together. There's like a vending
Trying to
machine or
Right.
something. I don't
Eating
even
out
know.
of a vending machine.
Right? So this is when oh my gosh, there's more explosions. I don't know. There's always just shit exploding left and right.
Yeah.
Somehow the
And
ship has to shift,
it-
right? Because
I think
what
something
they've been
happens.
the
yeah.
whole time what they've been trying to do is to get to those propellers on the bow of a ship that allow it to dock sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dylan knows so much about giant cruise ships that he's absolutely convinced that there is a hatch that opens into the shaft for those
Which I'm
propellers.
gonna right now say I doubt it.
But those are
yeah.
in the bow of the ship, right? And
Which is
so,
the
but
front,
the bow
right?
was where the
Yeah.
guys were. Yeah, the
I mean, I
bow
don't
was
know,
where
sure.
we can't go up there. The guys are getting sucked underwater. It's
Yeah.
a 2-hour swim to get to the
So,
front from
yeah.
here. So,
Yeah.
we need the ship to shift, right?
But they
So the
don't
bow
say
can
that.
come
They're
out
just
the
kind of like,
water.
we don't know what to do. But then shit explodes, and they're like, the bow's rising, and they're all excited. So this is when they're like, we can run up there and we can get up there because like everything shifted
During
up.
the shift, like hundreds of bodies and
Yeah,
rushing
again,
waves
all
come.
those guys just go.
They're back yeah. And during this is when they all get up to go, and Maggie goes, "Well, where's Connor?" I'm
This is so
sorry. Are
stupid.
you kidding me right now? You have one job. Watch your effing kid while we're on
Right.
this like heist trying
Or
to get
die
out.
with him. Right?
And-
Those are the
and
two.
Who
He
was
lives
like,
with you
"You
and
know
he
what?
dies with you.
Connor, you go play in the hallway with the dead bodies. Why would he ever be out of your sight at this point?
Doesn't she walks into the hallway and the tsunami of dead bodies.
Oh, it
It
takes her out.
sweeps her away. Yeah.
It sweeps her away. So everybody else goes for the bow, and Dylan's like, I'm going to go help
Yeah.
Maggie try to find Connor.
She's
like
buried
he's
in a ton of
she's
pile of dead
buried
bodies.
at the end in dead bodies, and Connor's gone because idiot kid left. I hate it. I hate the kid.
I was honestly kind of liking this movie until the kid totally randomly disappeared.
Why
because
would
up
you
till this point,
disappear?
He's got about a 3.5 minute lung capacity. He's very
true.
capable of doing everything all these adults are doing.
That is
He
true.
hasn't been a hindrance other than to make it uncomfortable for people with kids.
Yeah.
Right? It's just scary because I have kids.
Right.
And now it's like, oh, cool. My 10-year-old child
But
went to play Pac-Man.
why?
He
Yeah.
saw-
Why is he wandering? Who would be like, you know what, Connor? You do you while we sit in this room.
Speak
would
your
be
truth,
right
Connor.
next to you.
Walk into that pit of bodies and watch.
God.
See what you can dig up, son.
So they get to some room. They get to the room that you were talking about, Ben, where the hatch to the propeller or whatever.
Did they go to
And-
the front or the back?
I don't know.
They
tell
went
you
to the
truth.
front. The front is now out of the water, so they can go to the front. Well, the kid, Dylan and Maggie, are in the back.
Yeah, they're near the back.
They're in the back
Okay.
with the bodies now.
Huh.
So this is when Nelson is like, "Oh, a hatch," and he just immediately is like, "I should pop it open," without
Let's
asking.
see what it is.
Or like, what if water was behind? Who knows? And
Goofy,
it
what do you think's
pops
behind this
open and
hatch?
hits him in the face.
He
I thought
gets-
he was dead.
That's
It
an
doesn't-
understatement. He gets
I
rocked.
thought he was
by this
immediately
door.
dead. I was
Yeah.
like, well, there goes Nelson.
Right. I thought he was dead, too. Like a steel
This is a
door hit him in the face
killing
like
blow.
a bullet.
Like
Yeah.
between the eyes. It hits him.
It's like if you told someone to stand by your car door and you kicked it open. It's harder than
worse.
that.
Like,
It's
this
way
is
worse
than
the, like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that, like where I work with pressurized vessels,
Right.
this is the kind of thing that they
Ooh.
talk about all the time and does happen.
Right.
And people just get, it's not like you get hurt a little bit. Like, people just get
You get
blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So he did that. I
Oh.
definitely was like, well, there goes Nelson. And they find out that there's the switch for, they need to either turn the directions of the propellers or turn them off. And the switch is 150 feet away underwater. Which, once again, did he find that from looking at a map?
Well,
How
and
did he figure that out?
He
I don't
did.
remember.
He did. He
Was
pulled
it
something
looking at a
off the
map?
wall. What I
Okay.
find interesting here is how like complicated this scenario is and how little information they give you. Right? You
No.
have a pressurized chamber because of the direction of the propeller is why the thing hit him in the face, and because of the directions, it's pressurizing both the chamber and the room that they're in, so they can't get stuff into the propellers to. Like it's
To, like, stop
It's
the
crazy
propellers.
how much of a complicated engineering problem that is, and they don't ever say this out
Well,
loud.
I think Kurt Russell says we need to change the direction.
Right, but they
But
don't really
that's
talk
it.
about why.
So while that's happening, I don't want to say the next part yet because I want Ken to be here.
All right, we'll wait.
So
he needs
here,
to
wait.
hear this.
Can I take a mini 2-minute break too?
Sure, we'll take a mini break.
Okay, mini break right here.
I'm gonna turn on break music then. I need to find break music. D-list, we're going back to the rock. Here we go. It's just me and the gang. Da-na-na-na. Oh man, I'm just gonna rock out. Wait for everybody to return. Emily needed a break too. I was talking, Ken, about how complicated of an engineering problem. Look at Stella. He like takes up that whole rug. Are you muted, Ken?
Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you.
What engineering problem? Am I still
How
muted?
they don't, no, I can hear you now. How they don't really talk about how the like why did that shaft hit him in the face, and like
Yeah.
why they need to reverse the direction of the propellers and stuff. They're just
I
kind
didn't,
of like,
I didn't understand that either, and that's we'll get to it. And that's they sort of.
well, right?
the-
You have
I don't know.
because the propellers are going in a certain direction. They're like pressurizing the chamber behind them. So when he opens the door, it smashes him in the face. But that's also the problem is like it's higher pressure in the propeller shaft than when there, so they can't throw anything into the propellers, right? To like break them.
Then he reverses it, right?
So now it'll suck stuff into it, which we'll get to
Does
that
that
in a
mean-
second.
But does that mean that the ship, it's got propellers blowing starboard and port?
That's the
In
part
the
that doesn't
same
make sense.
shaft?
Does
That
that
doesn't make any
shaft go
sense.
all the way through, or is there one on each side? And I would think that they would blow. They
Straight
wouldn't blow
through.
into each other. They would either be going that way or
Right.
that way. They would
Right.
never be like doing this
Which is what they
or this.
And then they switched it to this.
That doesn't even make any sense,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Unless it somehow was pulling, but that wouldn't
Well,
do
unless
anything
it
for the
doesn't-
ship other than to I guess it would straighten it.
Maybe it doesn't go all the way through. Maybe there's a port and a starboard side shaft.
Maybe. I think
Yeah.
at one point in the movie you can see straight through it though.
That's
when
what
they
I
climb
thought
out.
too, which then totally breaks the
Right.
problem. Anyway,
Physics. Unless it's got a hole on the bottom and it just sucks so much volume of water that it can blow out both sides
that
of the
doesn't
ship.
make any sense. Why would it do that? That doesn't move the
Just
ship
keep
except
her
anywhere
steady.
but down.
Keep her
All that would do
steady.
is suck the ship down.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh wait, I didn't want to do
Maybe
this
it goes
part
out the
without you,
top
Ken.
and it lifts the front.
Rises. Okay, so
It's like a wheelie.
while they're trying to get to that switch, this is when they find Connor. Where is Connor? He's stuck in a flipping cage.
I know where he is.
Nobody
He's
knows.
in a cage
Yeah.
underwater. He's in a shark cage.
And the mom's like, "How'd you get in there?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Of course he
well,
doesn't
what
know.
the fuck were you doing a second ago, you little idiot? I would have been. We're gonna leave him. I don't even care at this point.
Well, remember, this part of the ship was above water
I don't
mere
care.
moments ago.
Why were you wandering? I hate
Yeah.
this child.
The tidal wave took him back here. The tidal wave. Look at here's a good example of just like the water just full of so
shit,
much
yeah.
stuff.
I love that.
I mean, that's
love
very
that.
true. Like, for
Yeah.
example, when your basement flooded, Ken, shit
It's just
everywhere.
crap.
Just
Everywhere.
crap. Stuff you didn't even know you
You had
owned
to
is just
move-
everywhere.
To see where, like, if there was really water there.
hmm
Yeah.
Which is why, yeah, in the boats, like, there'd be so much stuff everywhere. But, so they're trying to save douchebag from a cage.
I hate this part of the movie because it felt like a cop out of like some really. Otherwise, we've had some pretty decent, tense scenarios,
Right.
and this felt cheap.
It
This was like,
weird.
I don't ditch the kid down the hallway. Then
So-
they gotta go save him.
He's in a cage.
I
Why?
did for a
What?
moment think maybe they just all die. The kid, the mom.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
maybe they just die.
I mean, we get pretty close to that.
Like I thought maybe that they
We do
did.
get to that. So then we go back to the other three. So the dad, Kurt Russell, is going to swim to the button. And the boyfriend says, hold up, because he's a better swimmer. He's like, I'm younger. I have a better chance of getting to the button in time and all that
Oh,
stuff.
the boyfriend, which we haven't heard from for like an hour.
Ever. Yeah. And then he's like, I'll do it. And the dad's like, okay, that makes sense. And then he turns to the girlfriend. He's like, tell me that you love me. And he's doing this
I
weird.
need to hear
Which
it.
is what you would do to your girlfriend before you swim underwater.
So
you demand that she prove
demand
her love. Yeah.
And while he's doing that weird talk to her, they turn
talk.
back and Kurt Russell's gone. He did
Yeah.
it. He went. He
Right.
took
He's long
he
gone.
saw their love when when the boyfriend
Right.
demanded the love,
He
Yeah.
he
which is weird.
Bruce Willis did.
This was another point
He did.
where I honestly thought they were going to send the young kid in to die. Because
Mhm.
Kurt Russell's dad is kind of a jerk and doesn't really like this kid. And we've seen that virtually anybody can die here.
Yeah, I thought he'd be like, okay,
He's the
sounds
power
good to me
swimmer.
if the boyfriend
He's the man
wants
for
to,
the job.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly. When we saw him like in his retire from his swim career at the beginning of the movie, like a champion
Again.
swimmer.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it couldn't be more perfect that here he is, this moment of lifetime of swim training.
Let me show you what I can do.
Let me
Time
show
to
you what
prove
I can
myself.
do this. I can do this. And he doesn't
Um,
even get to.
No. But so then we cut back to Dylan trying to get the kid. It's a long time of the mom being like blah, 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 in the water and being like, try to breathe and all this, like she's on one side crying and like they're underwater. First of all, the kid is crying underwater. I'm going to tell you right now,
Yeah.
he would suck water in and he'd be dead in 2 seconds.
Over so fast.
No kid, every kid cries way more than they need to. It would be a, and he's done.
Yep.
He swallowed it, he's done. No 8-year-old's like, let me cry underwater properly while you try to save me. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Somehow, I think the kid's gone. She thinks he died. She turns around, Dylan has him.
That's what's weird. It's like they're both underwater long enough to drown.
Yeah,
and then she goes up because I think she thinks he's drowning.
Yeah, I think she thinks he's dead.
And then there's enough time for her to be like sobbing in the water because her son's dead. For what's his name? Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers, to erupt with that shit-eating grin on his face with the kid in hand.
Really like, surprise,
he's like, gotcha, bitch.
This is the first time that it was more like what I would consider classic action movie outcome,
right now
rather than like
it
gruesome
went back
death.
into like, well, we can't. I feel like they wanted to kill everybody. Yeah, like some studio exec came in and was like, well, we can't kill the kid, and you have to. It's towards the end of the movie anyway, so let's lighten it up. And from here on out, it like plays like a traditional.
Well, but
you would think
this is where you go. Well, the kid made it. Okay. Well, guess what?
Wait, who's left?
Dad has just made it to that room swimming.
Oh, that's right.
Guess what? That button is broken that he wanted to press, and then he immediately is like.
He panics again.
He's
like
panic drowning.
He's like panicking.
You see him
panicking.
He's
definitely out of
underwater.
air. He is like dying, and he hits the button to reverse the propellers.
Yeah.
He does that, but then guess what? He dies, bitches.
Out of
He's
time.
done. Not like, okay, you turn around, swim back. He's dead.
Or he didn't like calmly accept his decision. Like he looked like he really regretted swimming into that room. He was scared to death, and he was freaking out.
He didn't
the fact
enjoy
that
it,
he hit the right button is a miracle because he was drowning to death.
Yes, he was drowning.
Like it's
and then too, you're like maybe the boyfriend
like
could jump
movie
in. Right?
Somebody was like, yeah, but you got to make it PG-13, and we got to make it. I got to sell some tickets. So
no, and you're like, maybe the boyfriend can get some. No, he's dead. Nobody even goes to look for him. He's done. You don't even get his body. He's hanging out in that room.
They don't go get him. They don't.
Nothing.
I agree with Janelle. You guys are making me like this movie way more than it deserves, I think.
It is like pretty crazy now that I hear
it's
it.
It's a pretty crazy movie. It's not. It's not. It's not the disaster movie I thought it was, but it's also not like a blockbuster movie.
No, because they're killing people left and right here.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like we already have 3 dead now? Yeah.
Oh, more than that. You got Valentine.
Valentine.
I thought Nelson
Elena,
was dead too.
The drunk guy. Yelena.
The drunk guy. Yep. And then
Kurt
Dad.
Russell.
I thought Nelson was dead.
6,000 people, including Fergie.
That's true. Fergie is dead.
Right, Fergie's dead. I mean, Nelson took a freight train to the face. He's still alive
I couldn't
somehow.
believe he didn't
so
die
when they
from
go
that.
back to him, they're like, essentially, it's like he has a bloody nose, which is
no,
he would
be
be
like,
unconscious.
His skull would have been
It'd be like cut
caved
open.
in. It would have been unreal.
He essentially has a headache, but they're trying now. They go, well, he did it though. He hit the button. And so now we can throw something at the propeller, which
I love this part. I laughed
so
so hard at
this
part.
is when he says
this movie has been all over the place. And
it's okay.
All right,
in there, it's like no, you're fine. It's like a wind tunnel, though. He is like trying to move around the room, and he's like, "Hey, hand me that." I always say torpedo as a joke. It's like a gas tank or whatever, and
it's like a red gas cylinder.
And so they hand it up to him, and he goes to throw it out the window, and it gets caught like a dog trying to bring a stick in the house, like where he walks.
It's too big, and it just hits the window and just stays there. Because the suction is so strong.
The suction is so strong.
Oh, man.
And it's like, what are the chances, you guys? Come on.
Also, he throws it from like 20 feet away.
Oh, he's very
Right,
He just
like you
kinda
could have like
hopes it's
set it
gonna,
in there as
Like all you
straight
gotta
or
do is
something.
put one end into it and let it
Yeah,
pull in.
like have it straight. I don't know.
He just like tosses it up sideways and is like,
it-
whatever.
No, it's
I
just like
laughed.
it's.
I
oh,
laughed out loud because what are the chances?
And it's like windstorm in there. Then at one point his body gets stuck in the window.
Yeah, he jumps
it's like
up
his
and he almost. Oh my god, he almost gets like
Right.
he almost Gumbies
So
through
close.
into the propellers, and I was like, God, if they killed him now with like
Can you
4
imagine?
minutes left,
Man, that
I
would've
would
been-
love this movie so much. But alas,
He somehow
He does
gets
not.
that thing out the window and it stops the propeller or whatever. Which I don't
it
know if that
blows up.
would it stop? I don't. Whatever.
I don't.
No, you'd probably
It'd
like
probably just be like
it
bing
would-
bing and hit off.
Yeah.
I
like
mean,
it wouldn't.
okay, first of all, how are the electric motors that big still running? What's running them? But second of all, you like have damaged the propeller now, so now it's off
Yeah.
balance, and it would immediately probably rip off its shaft and probably come flying back out that window at you. They were spinning that
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
Like they were going like 1,000 RPM.
It
These
looks
like,
like a jet engine.
freaking 20-foot diameter
I
propellers.
couldn't find a picture.
Like it
of
would just
that
rip
thing.
into
That's
the
the
ship
thing.
or
Yeah,
something.
that's true.
When
I
it
wanted to
shows
find a
them-
picture of it going dung on the window,
also-
but I couldn't.
They also look like they were like 1920s. Like it's a cast iron propeller.
Right.
It weighs 50,000 pounds and it takes multiple nuclear reactors to turn. Like, yeah, we're gonna blow it up. That's
With
what
a
we're
single
gonna-
gas
With
canister.
one little, it didn't.
It's
make
probably a
sense.
helium canister. I don't understand why.
Do they have like areas like that to actually get out to them in the ship at the bottom of the ship?
I don't know,
That
'cause
seems-
like I said,
imagine.
doesn't that seem dangerous?
On the
One
bottom
idiot
of the ship.
at
and
the bottom, someone just pops that baby
Well, that's the
open.
thing.
Are
Seems
you
like a
kidding
stupid
me?
idea.
You would turn the engines off and you would dive in to fix it
Yeah,
right?
you wouldn't be
from
able.
the
Well,
exterior.
no one is ever under the ship being like, "Let me pop this." Well, it would feel. It doesn't make
Or
any
you
sense.
would, you would dock it and
But
drain.
so like
But that would be
if
an
you
I
go
don't know.
to the book, right? The book was in an older ship, and it was where you had you
Oh.
know, a propeller is on a shaft, and the shaft has to enter the ship somehow
Right.
to be turned, right? And it probably has some sort of seal or whatever, and then it's inside of a shaft. So their plan was to get through the seal to the elevator shaft or the propeller shaft where there's only like 1 or 2 layers of steel instead of like double hulled thickness, and then people will be able to hear them knocking and they can get cut out or whatever. But for some reason in this, there's like just a door that
doesn't make
opens up
any
into
sense.
but then we wouldn't have got the wind tunnel
No,
scene.
that's true.
That's
That
my
was
favorite
good.
part of the movie.
Yeah.
Other than when
Oh,
they kick
man.
Valentine down the
Yeah,
shaft.
that's true.
If he had gotten sucked in past the
imagine?
container, how insane would that have been? Like
he,
roll credits.
he goes up to try to like knock it in, and instead
And
just gets
just-
sucked in.
Right. All you see are like hands and the bottoms of his black leather shoes. And that's it.
Right. And
You
then
don't even-
it's just like
it just
um,
that's it. There's no sound. There's
Nothing
no
else.
it shows on the outside of the ship a like mist.
God. I wouldn't doubt it though.
All right, who cares what else
Wait,
happens?
they-
They're gonna
no,
get
we're
out
at
That's
now.
the
one
end of the
sentence
movie.
away.
Yeah.
They go
They
out.
made it.
They jump off the side of the ship, and thankfully there's a raft blown up and waiting for them.
there.
There's only one
Right
raft,
there.
and it's right there.
They
Why
climb,
is it there?
they climb on the raft. The boat starts to tip on them, and they kind of go "Whoa," for a
Right.
second, but
After
then it
all
doesn't.
this time, the boat tips.
There's another
Um,
wave they have to ride
and
because the
then-
ballast filled up. They
don't
remember they
know.
opened up the
Actually,
ballast
that
valves?
would make
That's
sense.
true.
Yeah.
and
But it wouldn't
then
tip. It would just
they
sink.
just- they wait in there, and then then doesn't the whole boat sink?
The whole
The whole boat goes
ship
under.
It does a
sinks.
whole flipperoo, and the front
Does it?
comes
Yeah.
up, and the
This is
Um,
like if you want to talk about like night things that actually scare you to see. If for
Oh.
me, it's ships sinking into a endless
Yes.
depth.
Yeah,
There's just
Yeah.
something about
where
that, like
someone's like, "Bye." That's
you know,
just,
the idea of like a ship sinking pulls you down to just like
Right.
unimaginable
nope,
depths.
don't like that.
I can't It just scares me so much.
Like the idea that you might die from the pressure before you actually
Right.
drown.
A bottomless
Ugh.
sea.
Oh,
Nope.
ugh.
Then they're just on the raft and helicopters come and see them,
Like
and it's
that,
roll credits.
baby.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
do 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 do. They just come in, but what I do
It
enjoy is the
pans out and there's
helicopters.
like 3 ships, like
But that-
super close.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
really close. But the helicopters are kind of looking like, where the fuck is the ship for a second, and then
It's
the
right
lights
there.
kind of go on them. Like, is this it? Like,
Yeah.
is this the 5 and that's it? Roll credits.
Roll credits. No,
They
no, they didn't.
barely made it
See,
out.
they don't need an epilogue because there was no prologue.
Right.
Yeah.
We
You're
don't
right.
know any of these people anyway, so who cares what they do afterwards? We don't know
Yeah.
what they did before.
I
We don't
still-
know how they've been
Maybe
changed
he-
because we didn't know how they are.
Maybe he
That's
got the diamond. He just did it off screen.
Right.
And we never saw
We never
any
knew.
of that.
I just so like Nelson was about to kill himself, and yet he's
Yeah,
one of the
man.
survivors out of that whole ship.
And he killed
he-
multiple people.
Yeah, like he is the real.
Yeah.
he's
Speaking
the
of
villain
prologue,
of this.
so there's no resolution on his boyfriend leaving him, right? There's no resolution on whoever the woman with the kid is. Like,
No,
there's not even a scene of them like meeting up on dry land or anything with douchebag supreme. The boyfriend and the girlfriend make it out, but there's no
Yeah, they do.
funeral. There's no,
yeah, Dad's.
I don't
gone.
know. It's just, if you don't have a prologue, you don't need a
I mean,
intro, I guess, right?
You know, you guys have absolutely convinced me that you can find the light in the dark as long as you look hard enough.
Now
I
I
was
feel like-
so not looking.
So-
I didn't know what we were going to say about this movie because I feel like I watched it and I was like,
So
whatever.
Yeah.
at the beginning, Ben, you said no to watching. What would you say now?
I kind of want to watch the old one with Gene Hackman instead.
Oh man, that one is people being like, "Rah!" off the ship. It is really.
It's
I don't
clearly
know. That
a
might be.
woman at the pool with like a black background.
And she
jumps
has
in
like
the pool.
sleeves that are on fire. Like it's very obvious.
Yeah.
It does look pretty good though.
I also
Yeah.
really didn't want to watch this, but it's because I thought it was a disaster movie, and this movie is not a disaster movie.
This is a
It's
murder mystery.
It's a horror, like
It's a cave diving.
yeah,
No.
it's
It's
a
a cave
grisly.
diving.
It
It's
is
a
very
grisly
like.
Nightmare.
examination of what you would do in an actual scenario.
First of all, I would just die in the ballroom because I
right?
wouldn't have
I
left.
never would have left the ballroom.
I wouldn't be
chilling
like,
with
should we
Fergie,
start climbing the bodies? Yeah, why wouldn't I hang out and have
Like,
a
Right,
glass
there's
of
a
drinks are free,
Fergie.
I
I'm at a
assume.
Fergie concert.
with
Drinks
like
are free.
champagne. Like yeah,
They're
I
literally
don't-
floating past me. I'm chilling. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I
There's
don't-
not that many people here anymore, so there's way too much to drink.
Oh my god.
He said they'll be here in 2 hours. I can have 3 or 4 and be totally fine
Yeah,
by the
I'm
time
good.
Right. I'll
The
be in a
Uber gets
very
here.
good mood when the boat gets here.
What doesn't make sense is that ballroom where they're like, we're gonna lock the doors. What it would do is it would like lock where windows are too. It wouldn't be like the windows are fine. There would be a thing
Yeah,
that goes in
that
front of the
bothered me
windows.
too. I didn't
That
get-
doesn't make any sense.
But they're not meant to be submerged. But why would you have
But what is it for then?
these like blast doors?
I don't know. I just feel like
If-
you wouldn't have like windows just doing their. I don't know. It's weird.
Huh. I
have
don't
no
know.
clue how real cruise ships work. This one also was pretty small compared to like those big cruise ships that they have,
Well,
where it's
that's
like, are you in pool 1, 2, 3, or 4? Like this one was kind of
Upper
like a
deck or
small
lower
hotel
deck? Paul
room,
one,
like
pool 1 through 4.
yeah, right, exactly.
those
I-
giant Odyssey of the Sea or whatever that has
It's like a country moving around
and
the
there's
ocean.
there's like a courtyard through the middle and then the
Yeah.
big amphitheater in the back.
It's
Oh,
like insanely large.
way
This one
big.
was
Those
very like I
scare
could
me.
run from front to back.
I would never want to be on one of those.
Yeah, that is frightening.
it's like a little city on a
But I
boat.
Yeah,
bet a
but, like,
rogue wave can't take it out.
Trapped inside one, right? You can't go anywhere.
It's
You're always
essentially like
just
a
on the
mall and a
boat.
hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like going to Vegas on the sea.
But it's for people who
Oof.
don't want to make decisions. Your decisions are already laid out for you,
That's true.
right?
Mm.
You have A, B, C, or D. And that's it.
It's true.
And your bed is the size of a napkin, from what I
I've
gather.
never been on a cruise
That's why I'll
ship,
never
so
go
I have
on one,
no
'cause
idea.
the beds are tiny. Yeah.
Have you been on one,
I've never
Ken?
been
I've
on a
never been on
vacation.
one. No.
Okay.
You
I
have to
didn't know
pay
if
a
maybe you
premium to
had
get a real.
done one.
No.
Okay.
Starkly against them. For this reason, the movie this
For the
movie
Rogue
proves
Wave.
why I'll never go on one. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
I'll have to
gonna
take a
start
cruise for
telling-
research.
I'm gonna start telling people if they go, well, why not? And go, have you heard of Rogue Waves, Flash Fires?
Right.
Flash
Rogue Waves,
fires.
Flash Fires.
That's
Yeah,
all
That's
you need
all
to
you need
say.
to know. And on that note, thank you for tuning in for this D-list movie review. We'll catch you next time. Next week, we have a normal podcast, so tune in for another Date Night Dice podcast. And we will see you guys later.
Bye bye.
Thank you. What's the name of that song?